Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a deep dive into some truly fascinating material from Brianna Wiest's book, The Mountain is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. Our mission for you, our listener, is really to unpack the core ideas here, like what self-sabotage really is, why we keep doing it, and maybe most importantly, how we move from being our own biggest obstacle
Yeah.
to becoming the masters of our own lives. It's all about transforming adversity into growth,
Yeah.
even when it feels like you're absolutely hitting rock bottom.
And what's so compelling, I think, about Wiest's perspective is how she completely flips our sort of conventional understanding of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
She presents it not as some inherent flaw or weakness, but more like a misguided, often unconscious attempt to protect ourselves.
Protection.
Right. So we're going to explore how our deeper needs and fears drive these behaviors, and then, crucially, what actual steps we can take to change them.
So what does this mean for you listening right now? Well, if you've ever felt like something's holding you back and you've got that nagging suspicion that something might just be you,
Mm-hmm.
then this deep dive is going to offer some genuinely surprising facts and, honestly, incredibly practical insights to help you get out of your own way. Okay, let's unpack this. Wiest starts with this powerful central metaphor right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
The mountain is you. Can you explain what she means by that? Why is it so fundamental?
Absolutely. So when Reese talks about the mountain, she's really referring to the internal challenges we face. It's not necessarily, external stuff or just bad luck. Instead, it arises from these coexisting but often conflicting needs inside us, like the part of you that consciously wants to move forward, achieve things,
Right.
versus the unconscious part that, for whatever reason, holds you back. It really represents both your biggest challenges and, kind of paradoxically, your greatest potential for growth.
Potential? Okay.
Yeah, and she's very clear. Having a mountain doesn't mean you're broken at all. In fact, she sees it as a sign of potential, just a sign of being human. She puts it beautifully, saying something like, everything in nature is imperfect, and it is because of that imperfection that growth is possible.
I like that. Imperfection enabling growth.
Yeah.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, Winston argues our mountain is often an internal problem, right? Like a shaky foundation inside us rather than just, tough circumstances. She says chronic problems are very often about us.
Exactly.
And this is a huge aha moment for many because it really challenges that idea that like self-sabotage is some kind of, masochism or self-hatred.
Right. It's not about hating yourself.
No. She says it's simply the presence of an unconscious need that is being fulfilled by the self-sabotaging behavior. It's basically a maladaptive coping mechanism, a way we give ourselves what we think we need, but without ever really addressing the actual underlying issue.
That's spot on. You're getting something out of it, just not what you really need.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. The roots of this self-sabotage. Wiest pinpoints a few key sources. First, there's irrational fear.
Yes.
It's like we project our legitimate, deeper fears onto safe, often pretty unlikely scenarios, maybe severe car anxiety masking a deeper fear of losing control in life, or even just the idea of moving forward feels threatening. Wiest warns, if you try to fix the problem on the surface, you will always come up against a wall.
So true, because the surface thing often isn't the real thing. And building on that, another root cause she identifies is unconscious negative associations.
Okay, tell me more.
This comes from outdated stories we tell ourselves or even beliefs picked up in childhood. Imagine someone maybe resisting financial stability because deep down they associate rich people with something negative from their past.
Right, like all rich people are terrible.
Exactly. Or maybe they unconsciously link being healthy with vulnerability. Perhaps if someone they love got sick right after they started driving. Our brains are always trying to keep us safe based on old data, even if that data is totally irrelevant now.
That makes sense. And then there's unfamiliarity, which Wiest, referencing Gay Hendricks, calls our upper limit.
The upper limit problem.
Yeah, this is just our natural resistance to anything new, even if it's objectively good for us.
Yeah.
We might hit a certain level of happiness or success, and then, bam, unconsciously sabotage it just to get back to what feels comfortable, our baseline.
It's not that we don't want the good stuff.
No.
It's just that the unknown feels inherently risky to our system.
Okay, that's a powerful point, because it raises a crucial question for anyone listening. If self-sabotage is so ingrained, often unconscious, how do we even start to get out of denial?
Right. How do you even see it? Wiest says the absolute first step is taking full accountability, really getting into clarity about what's really wrong.
Mm.
She offers a very practical exercise. Just grab a piece of paper, a pen, and write down every specific problem you're facing. Finances, self-image, that nagging anxiety, whatever it is, get it all out.
Just lay it bare.
Exactly. And she also talks about the rock bottom principle, which isn't some, magical light bulb
A
moment.
dramatic movie scene.
Right. It's more like a powerful internal declaration, I never want to feel this way again. It's that point when staying where you are actually becomes the less comfortable option. That's what forces you, compels you to embrace the difficulty of change.
That idea of hitting your personal rock bottom,
Yeah.
making change feel less scary than staying put, that really clicks, doesn't it?
It really does.
And these moments of clarity often help us see we've been stuck in certain patterns of self-sabotage, which Wiest helpfully breaks down. Let's dig into some of the ways this shows up, often subtly. Think about resistance. Ever felt that tension, maybe even anger, when a new project or relationship is actually going well?
Mm-hmm. That feeling of this is too good to be true or something.
Exactly. It's often because you're tapping into a part of yourself that's trying to thrive, not just survive,
Mhm.
and that feels foreign. Wiest suggests releasing this by getting super clear on your desires and unearthing those unconscious beliefs, driving the resistance.
And that leads right into hitting your upper limit, which you mentioned earlier. This is when you unconsciously do something, maybe get a sudden physical ache, feel unexplained anger or guilt right when things are going great, just to bring yourself back down to what feels familiar, comfortable. Wiest has a great quote. "We are not really wired to be happy. We are wired to be comfortable."
That hits home.
Yeah. The solution, she says, is slowly acclimating to the new normal, gradually shifting your baseline upward. Tiny, consistent steps, not a giant leap.
Okay, tiny steps. Another pattern that really stands out is uprooting.
Ah, the constant fresh start.
Yes, that relentless need for a new relationship, a different job, moving to a new town, often to avoid facing deeper issues like stress or conflict. Wiest observes, in uprooting, you are not allowing yourself to blossom. You are only comfortable with the process of sprouting.
Wow, that's a powerful visual. Just sprouting, never blooming.
Exactly. So the key is recognizing the pattern and digging into what's truly driving you away, what you're trying to escape.
And then there's perfectionism, which, many of us might actually see as a good thing, a positive trait.
I'm just a perfectionist.
But Wiest really challenges that. She says it's often not actually about wanting everything perfect. It's more a deep fear of failure or vulnerability.
So it holds you back.
Totally. It stops us from showing up, from trying, from doing the important work, her resolution. It's wonderfully simple. Don't worry about doing it well, just do it. Focus on progress, not some impossible ideal.
Just do it. That's so common, though, isn't it? We'd rather not start than risk imperfection. Okay, let's talk emotions. Wiest highlights limited emotional processing skills.
Difficult is handling the full range.
Right, an inability to really handle the whole spectrum of feelings, which leads us to avoid risks or get stuck in loops of anger or sadness. The solution, she says, is allowing emotions to actually rise up, observing them without judgment,
Not getting swept away.
and then intentionally deciding how to change your behavior to get the outcome you want.
And this connects nicely to justification. Using excuses, basically, to make yourself feel okay in the moment, almost treating the excuse like an achievement itself.
Ouch.
Yeah. Wiest is pretty blunt here. Your life is ultimately measured by your outcomes, not your intentions. She urges us to measure what we do, not just what we plan to do. Her advice, do at least one productive thing daily. And crucially, stop accepting your own excuses.
Right, intentions without action, just wishes. And speaking of things blocking action, there's disorganization.
Creating chaos.
Yeah, creating distractions and chaos in your environment, home, workspace, often serving an unconscious purpose, like avoiding starting that big, important thing. Wiest fix. Start small. Declutter one tiny area, then build routines. It's about momentum, not an overnight transformation.
That seems manageable. Another fascinating pattern Wiest points out is attachment to what you don't really want.
Pursuing the wrong goals.
Exactly. Goals that aren't truly yours, maybe adopted from others, or ambitions you've outgrown. Wiest poses a really crucial question. Do I actually want to do this?
That takes courage to answer honestly.
It really does. The resolution is being brave enough to accept your success story might look different than you thought, and letting go of what isn't genuinely right for you.
That's a tough one. And then there's judging others.
Gossiping, villainizing success.
Right. which, maybe surprisingly, sets up internal rules that actually sabotage your own ability to achieve similar success.
Hmm.
Wiest suggests practicing non-judgment, non-assumption, and even better, actively congratulating others when they get something you desire.
It shifts your internal landscape, which leads us to guilt of succeeding, that weird feeling like you don't deserve abundance.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about that.
It can manifest in self-sabotaging spending or work habits. Weiss clarifies that money and success are tools. Tools that can buy time, opportunities to help others, not just status symbols. Seeing them as tools changes the perspective.
So it's about what you do with success, not just having it.
Okay,
Wiest also talks about the fear of failing.
a big one.
Huge. It stops us even attempting things out of fear of looking bad or this constant irrational worry about losing what we've built. She differentiates failing when trying something new versus failing due to, say, negligence. Her advice: choose to fail for the right reasons by taking action, by pushing yourself.
That's a crucial distinction. Okay, this brings us to a really important piece Wiest lays out. How do we even know if we're caught in a self-sabotage cycle? She gives several clear symptoms, like being more aware of what you don't want than what you do want, or spending energy trying to impress people who don't even like you.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Other signs: putting your head in the sand denial about basic facts of your life, caring more about convincing others you're okay than actually being okay, prioritizing being liked over being happy, being more afraid of your feelings than anything else.
That's a lot.
It is. Also, blindly chasing goals without knowing why. Treating coping mechanisms as the problem, not the underlying issue. Waiting for someone else to open doors. Or simply not realizing how far you've actually come. Weiss links these to what she calls subconscious commitments. Those deep, often unacknowledged drivers that become louder when our core needs aren't met.
Subconscious commitments.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Like our deepest programming. And Wiest emphasizes that our triggers, the things that set us off, aren't just pain points. She says they're actually guides.
Guides, yeah. Messages.
Exactly. Each negative emotion carries a message we need to decipher. Let's dig into a couple, because this really reframes feelings. Anger, for instance, so often seen as just aggression.
Right, a purely negative thing.
But Wiest calls it a beautiful, transformative emotion. She says it shows us boundaries, helps identify injustice, and actually mobilizes us to act. She even says anger is transformative, and it is often the peak state we reach before we truly change our lives.
Wow, so it's not about staying angry, but using its energy.
Precisely. And then there's jealousy. Wiest calls it a cover-up emotion. It might look like anger or judgment towards someone else, but she argues it's actually rooted in sadness and self-dissatisfaction.
Sure.
And here's the insight. If you want to know what you truly want out of life, look at the people who you are jealous of.
Ooh, that's powerful.
It's not about hating on them, but recognizing your suppressed desires and using that as motivation.
So jealousy becomes a compass. That really shifts things.
Isn't it? And she talks about regrets similarly. It's not about wishing we could change the past. Instead, it shows us not what we wish we could have done, but what we absolutely need to create going forward. It's a motivator for the future. She sums up this idea of emotions as guides by saying, our internal guidance systems whisper until they scream when we ignore them.
That's a great way to put it. Which leads us to a crucial question. How do we tell the difference between a genuine gut feeling and just a fear-based thought?
Yeah, that's tricky.
Wiest has a clear distinction. Your gut instinct, she says, functions only in the present moment. It's usually quiet, a subtle knowing, and it always aims to make things better, like that immediate sense after meeting someone that you just don't want to see them again. It's a response that moves you, not just a feeling or interpretation.
Okay, quiet, present, productive. What about those loud, nagging thoughts?
Right. Fear and intrusive thoughts. They're loud, often panicky, usually irrational, and frequently triggered by external stuff. And here's the key. They almost always make things worse by projecting into some imagined negative future. Wiest really nails it when she says, feelings do not inform you of the right decision to make. Right decisions create the right feeling.
Whoa, say that again.
Feelings do not inform you of the right decision to make. Right decisions create the right feelings. Our brains, built for survival, produce impulses not always suited for today. She offers this permission. You can feel something and not act on it.
That's liberating, isn't it? Knowing you don't have to follow every thought, which leads to how our minds can sometimes work against us through what Wiest calls logical lapses and faulty inferences.
Yeah, the ways our thinking gets skewed.
With logical lapses, Wiest argues anxiety often comes from underthinking, not overthinking. We jump to the worst-case scenario without actually thinking through the whole situation and how we'd respond.
Mm.
We don't visualize getting through it. Like her example of not being able to visualize getting off an airplane safely.
It's like our brain hits a wall at the problem instead of finding the path through. And then there are faulty inferences, drawing false conclusions from potentially valid evidence, like hasty generalization, making huge claims from tiny experience.
Or that classic one, post hoc ergo propter hoc.
That's a mouthful. But yeah, after this, therefore because of this, confusing timing with cause.
Like I wore my lucky socks, my team won, so the socks made them win.
Exactly, we do it all the time. She also mentions the false dichotomy seeing only two extremes. Or the slippery slope, one thing inevitably leading to a crazy chain reaction. And she points out that worrying isn't a protector, it's the weakest defense system. It just sensitizes us to bad outcomes, drains energy, often becomes self-fulfilling.
But it feels like we should worry sometimes.
Right, but she's clear, worrying excessively is not a malfunction. Worrying is a subconscious defense mechanism, her fix. Imagine how a neutral third party would handle it, build real self-esteem, and choose a new thought pattern accepting your ability to cope.
Okay, so healing the mind isn't like healing a cut. Wiest says it's more like gutting yourself and becoming someone entirely new.
A transformation, not just a repair.
Exactly. And she stresses you can't force yourself to let go of the past. Instead, the path is building a new life so immersive, so engaging, so exciting that you slowly, over time, just forget about the past. As she says, you let go when you build a new life so immersive and engaging and exciting, you slowly, over time, forget about the past.
So it's about building the future, not erasing the past.
Right. And she offers a powerful trick. Revisit past trauma in your mind, but imagine your healed, older self sitting with your younger self, giving wisdom. Imagine telling them absolutely everything. Yes, everything is going to be okay. It's about shifting perspective.
That's a really powerful reframing, which brings up trauma. Wiest says it's not just in your head, it's in your body.
Physically stored.
Yes, a legitimate physical issue stored cellularly, affecting brain areas like the hippocampus, amygdala. So healing, she suggests, involves restoring safety in the exact area that was traumatized. Relationship trauma, build healthy relationships. Money trauma, get good with money.
Address it directly.
Right, and release that emotional backlog like clearing an email inbox. Allow feelings to be felt, processed physically. Meditation just to feel, not necessarily be calm. Breath scans, sweating, moving, crying. Because as she says, emotions are physical experiences.
That makes so much sense, processing physically. And Wiest points out something surprising. Positive life events can actually trigger depressive episodes.
Adjustment shock, she calls it.
Yeah. Anything new, even good stuff, feels uncomfortable until it's familiar. It forces us to level up everywhere, adapt to a new normal. Her resolution. Adjust your mindset in other areas to align. Learn to manage the new stuff better. Familiarize yourself with the unknown.
Which raises a great question. When we talk about this glow up, how do we make sure it's authentic growth, not just for external validation or like a revenge body?
Good question.
Wiest is clear. A real glow up is authentic. It's about how things feel inside, not how they look to others. She says, it is for the first time prioritizing your heart over someone else's eyes.
Prioritizing your heart.
The closure, the growth, it's for you. Not proving anyone wrong. As she puts it, you have nobody to prove wrong but yourself. It's you versus you, becoming who you know you can be.
I love that. You versus you. Okay, so moving from self-sabotage to self-mastery means turning towards building a new future. One technique she suggests is meeting your highest potential future self.
Like inner child work, but looking forward.
Exactly. Sit down with your future self, maybe you at 80, whatever. Notice how they look, act, ask for guidance. Imagine them handing you the keys to your new life, making you feel calm, affirmed, and more self-assured.
That's a great visualization. And building on that, Wiest distinguishes between controlling emotions and suppressing them.
What's the difference?
Controlling is a conscious choice about behavior in response to feeling. Suppression is unconscious, stuffing feelings down. She points out, emotions are temporary, but behaviors are permanent, and you're always responsible for your actions. Choose the response. Don't deny the feeling.
Okay, choose the response. And ultimately, it's about learning to trust yourself again. Wiest says finding inner peace isn't created, it's returned to. It's that deep internal knowing that everything is okay and always will be.
Like her lake metaphor?
Yes.
Hey.
You don't have to force the water to be still. It does it on its own when you stop interrupting it.
That resonates. Which makes you wonder, what really drives us toward this peace? Wiest suggests trading the chase for happiness. for inner peace, that stable state in between the scales. She says, inner peace is the true happiness.
True happiness.
It's about being present. The only place to find happiness is in the present because that's the only place it truly exists. Anxiety lives in the future, depression in the past, and the key to real change, microshifts.
Ah, the tiny steps again.
Yes, she says emphatically, you don't change in breakthroughs, you change in microshifts. Life-altering change comes from tiny, consistent daily actions. Think of the penny that doubles idea. What you plant consistently over time eventually yields a compounded or exponential harvest.
I love that, the power of consistency.
Yeah.
And she introduces this really compelling idea. The mind is anti-fragile.
Like muscles getting stronger after stress.
Exactly. Our minds grow stronger through adversity, not by avoiding it. If we deny real challenges, our brains compensate by creating problems. She concludes, embracing the grit of it all was what you were made for.
It's an empowering view. And to achieve this, Wiest stresses adopting your own principles. Fundamental truths, cause and effect, like keeping overhead low for financial health, they shift you from short-term survival to long-term thriving. If you don't have principles now, you won't have them later.
That's a solid foundation. And building on that, how do we find our true purpose? Wiest says it's not a single job, but your existence, your impact. That sweet spot where skills, interests, and the world's needs meet. The blueprint of your future.
So how do we find that blueprint?
She gives powerful questions. What and who is worth suffering for? What's the best version of you like? What would you do if social media vanished? What comes naturally? Ideal daily routine. Legacy. And poignantly, she notes purpose is often found through pain because hardship forces action.
So true, clarity from challenges, which raises the question, how do we become truly mentally strong? Wiest says it's a process, a practice, not a fixed thing.
What are the actions?
Key actions. Get a plan. Plans fix problems, reduce anxiety. Humble yourself, the world doesn't revolve around you. Ask for help, you're not supposed to know it all. Know what you don't know. Avoid false dichotomies. Stop psychic thinking, assuming you know what others think.
Guilty is charged on that last one sometimes.
We all are. Also, take responsibility for your outcomes. Most of life is in your control. Process complex emotions, don't suppress. Forget what happened, focus on making it right going forward. Talk it out, simplifies problems. Take your time, growth is incremental. Take signals as signals, shows where healing is needed. And honor your discomfort, it's trying to tell you something.
That's an amazing toolkit. And finally, Wiest gives guidance on truly enjoying life. Counterintuitively, stop trying to be happy.
Allow it, don't force it.
Exactly. Happiness is natural when other feelings pass. Arrive into the present, the only place happiness exists. Stop trying to assert dominance. Connection comes from equality.
That makes sense for deeper fulfillment. She also says, lean into the little joys. Embrace small, daily satisfactions. Nurture positive relationships. Quality over quantity. Critically, learn something new as often as you can. Stay open, let life change you, and see challenging times as opportunities for transformation. Happy people are coachable. Understand growth is needed.
Seeing challenges as opportunities, that's huge. And she reminds us, be aware of what you give your energy to. Thoughts become reality.
Yeah.
And maybe most powerfully, schedule time to do nothing and schedule time to play. Embrace mundanity, reconnect with wonder.
Ultimately, Wiest boils self-mastery down to radical and complete responsibility for your life. She states profoundly, it is not what happens, but the way one responds that determines the outcome. And for anyone who struggled, she offers this perspective. The years of discomfort were not some sort of purgatory. They were your deepest inner self informing you that you are capable of more, deserving of better, and meant to transform into the person of your dreams. And a clear call to action. Fear is not going to protect you. Action is. Worrying is not going to protect you. Preparing is. Overthinking is not going to protect you. Understanding is.
So what does this all mean for you listening? We've dug into Wiest's powerful ideas, seeing self-sabotage as messed up self-protection, emotions as guides, the huge impact of microshifts, and that idea that our minds are anti-fragile, needing adversity to strengthen, not just chasing comfort. That feels like a massive takeaway. It's not about avoiding the mountain, right? It's about climbing it.
Which raises, I think, an important question for you to consider. If your mountain really is you, and healing means becoming someone new, not just going back, what's one single small thing you can do today, a micro shift, to lean into that discomfort and start building the life you truly want, even if it feels unfamiliar right now?
Remember, as Brianna Wiest so powerfully reminds us, one day the mountain that was in front of you will be so far behind you it will barely be visible in the distance. But who you become in learning to climb it, That will stay with you forever. That is the point of the mountain. And that really is exactly why this deep dive matters.